I think I'm a natural athlete. I was born with a gift. I was good at sport. I always had confidence. And I think that helped me as a jockey. So it was very hard for me to get opportunities to start with. But I still rode 27 winners in my first season, which is, you know, some jockeys here now, if they ride 27 winners in a season, I think they've had a great season.
Yeah, lucky enough. Hello， 大家好。嗱，喺呢個環境咧，你會見到我大運哥走咗出嚟做乜嘢咧？當然要做一個勝利人物誌。但係咧，坐喺我身邊呢個就真正一個勝利人物，大家都認識佢噶啦，就係潘頓。因為咧，佢攞咗一個香港冠軍嘅紀錄，就係已經贏咗超過1814場嘅頭馬。而呢個紀錄，我相信咧，以我做咗馬迷咁多年咧，都唔知要等到下一次係幾時至會再有另一個騎師。所以我今日咧就直擊訪問上咗去阿潘頓嘅屋企。嗱，我會盡量咧揾一啲你哋想知騎師喺背後嘅生活，多過咧佢贏過幾多場啊，有乜嘢最難忘嘅賽事啊，最肉緊嘅賽事啊等等。因為呢啲咧喺好多地方你都知，咁我揾一啲你想知佢又肯答嘅嘢，同大家傾下，同埋最重要係點樣可以成為一個咁成功嘅騎師。嗱，咁我就會介紹潘頓俾大家識啦。Hi, Sir.
Darren, good to see you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Actually, it's not easy, even for me as an owner, to get into a jockey's home to take this interview. Honestly, I'm really honored, you know.
No, we've been good friends for a while, so it's good to have you here.
Actually, as an owner, people always think we can get a lot of tips from jockeys. But to me, they are friends. So I would love to introduce you Zac Purton from his young age for a short while, so you know how to bring up this guy, Zac Purton, to be so successful in Hong Kong. And you start your career at what age?
So I was always very good at sport. It didn't matter what I played, if it was soccer, if it was cricket, if it was tennis, little athletics.
Okay.
But I always loved horses. And whenever I went anywhere that my friends had a horse, I would always want to try and ride the horse and things like that. So I always had a love for horses. And then when I was 14 and a half, when I was in Coffs Harbour, in the Northern Rivers of New South Wales in Australia, there was a jockey seminar on at Kempsey, which was an hour and a half away from Coffs Harbour, and it meant I could have the day off school. So I went down there and I went through the process and listened to what they had to say, and I decided that I wanted to try and be a jockey and give it a go. So they placed me with a trainer in Coffs Harbour by the name of Trevor Hardy. And then I would start to go to his stables every morning and every afternoon before and after school. And then I would stay with him on the weekends. And that's when I really started to learn about stable life, about horse racing. He had to teach me everything I didn't know, anything really about horse racing other than what I had seen in the limited times I'd been to the races. So at that stage when I walked into the stable, at 14 and a half, I was 27 kilograms. So
47 kilograms.
27.
Oh, 27.
27. I was tiny.
27.
Yeah.
I was
really
that kind of
small.
weight when I was in primary school.
That's right. So I was really small, really light,
Okay.
good at athletics, and wanted to ride horses.
Okay.
So I was a perfect fit, really. But I then had to learn how to ride the racehorses. So I had to get some proper riding lessons, which took some time. I was too small and too weak to ride on the race course because the racehorses are very strong and very powerful.
Understand.
So I had to ride them at the beach and in the sand dunes around the stable area for 12 months until I got bigger and stronger. I was going to the gym. I was trying to eat more and put weight on. So by the time I went from 14 and a half to 16, I was already 52 kilograms. I'd had a growth spurt. Nearly double.
Okay.
And then by the time I was 17, I was able to start riding in races.
17. And then how long it takes you to become a champion apprentice?
Well, I was champion apprentice pretty much straight away. I rode 145 winners in my first 12 months of riding, which was unheard of in Australia. And then I went from the country area to Brisbane for my first step into the metropolitan area to ride. And I won the Brisbane Jockeys Premiership while I was still an apprentice up there as well. So my whole career I've had good success right from the start all the way through.
So how did you find yourself as a jockey and compared to other sports or compared to other jockeys? Anything special with talent?
I think I'm a natural athlete. I was born with a gift. I was good at sport. I always had confidence. And I think that helped me as a jockey because I'd always been good at everything I'd done. I just naturally assumed I was going to be a good jockey as well. Luckily, it's worked out that way, but that's just what I thought. So I had the confidence, I had the balance. I've always had a really good balance on the horses. Everyone has always said that from the first time they see me on a horse. They said I was the most naturally gifted rider that they'd seen. So my balance was always there. I had the confidence. I was small, I was light, physically very good. So it just all fell into place. It was like it was meant to be. But I feel like I was born with a gift. But I've got a good work ethic. I've got a great will to win. I always try and be better, so I'm always looking to improve myself. I studied the best jockeys. I watch the best horses and races from around the world and see how I can always get better. So I'm never satisfied with where I am and what I've got. I'm always looking to do better.
I know that.
My original dream was to ride in Sydney and be a jockey in Sydney. But I ended up in Brisbane because my boss took some horses up there to race at the Gold Coast on a Saturday. I rode 4 winners, and then he went up to Brisbane the following Saturday. I rode 4 winners again, so the phone started ringing in Brisbane. So while the opportunity was there in Brisbane, I remained there for a period of time until I decided I was ready to go to Sydney. And then I went to Sydney for 2 years, and then I had the opportunity to come to Hong Kong. I had the opportunity to come to Hong Kong when I was in Brisbane, but I didn't feel like I was ready at that time. I wanted to wait a little bit longer, learn my trade, try and be a little bit better because I knew Hong Kong was a very tough environment. And always. I didn't want to come here until I thought I was ready. So when I come, I thought I was at the right age. I had enough experience.
That was how old?
I was 23 or 24. I think I was 24. But even when I come at that age, of course, it was still very hard to get opportunities. But when I come here, there are a lot of jockeys that have been established for a long period of time. For 10 or more years. You know, you would remember all these jockeys. We had Douglas White, Brett Preble, Gerard Mosse, Olivier Deleuze, Eric Saint Martin, Shane Dye was here, Danny Nikolic, Anthony Delpeche, Felix Kutzi, Glenn Boss come at the same time as me, as well as Kevin Shea and Darren Beedman come 2 weeks after me.
Since that time, the jockey field actually was very strong, huh?
Well, they were jockeys. They were jockeys that were sort of
at the top of each country.
They were, but that was towards the end of their careers. So they had a lot of experience, and they'd been around for a long period of time. So the jockeys that are here now are still quite young. You know, when we look back on their careers in 20 years' time, they're going to have accomplished a lot as well. But at that time when I arrived, there were jockeys that had accomplished a lot, that had been here for a long period of time, that had really good connections with the trainers and the owners. So why would they put me on, a young kid that they've never heard of, never seen, haven't seen me ride a horse, let alone a winner? Why would they put me on over all these other jockeys that they've had a decade-long connection with, that they've had success with, that they've got a relationship with? So it was very hard for me to get opportunities to start with. But I still rode 27 winners in my first season, which is, you know, some jockeys here now, if they ride 27 winners in a season, I think they've had a great season.
Lucky enough, the syndicate my brother was in, you had the ever first Hong Kong win for him. And then this horse came up as the Happy Valley Million Trophy in February.
As a 7 or 8 year old. So he'd been around for quite a period of time and hadn't set the world on fire, and then I come.
Ricky, you took him to 1650. Actually, I gave no hope to this horse for that race. I said, just joking, you know, can't win. Because we never realized the horse can run a mile. And maybe you make him to run. Anyway.
But that was great for me to go on that journey with that horse in my first season, to win the Happy Valley Million Challenge.
The name is
Elfhelm.
Elfhelm.
Yeah, pale blue colours with
Yeah.
sort of navy blue and white.
Yeah. You still have that winning photo with you?
Yeah, I do. Yep.
I think so.
Yeah.
Anyway, this question was actually from Deep Seek about if I want to have an interview with Zac. What questions you like to raise is how do you maintain a good relationship with trainer and then owner, and after all, are you enemies with other jockeys? And how do you take your racing fans? Some brew on you during the parade, some give you a big clap when you won the 1814. Okay, let's start with how do you get, like as you said, so many good jockeys around, and the trainer only about 20 something?
Yeah, 20, yep, 21.
So, and you don't speak Cantonese?
Yeah.
So, what did you do to get them to know you and let you ride their better horses?
Well, luckily, the local trainers can speak English or a fair amount of English, so it's easy to talk to them.
Ring?
Well, when I first arrived, I didn't, and that was the problem. But the local trainers were willing to give me a little bit of an opportunity and a little bit of a go, and I built my first relationships with them. It wasn't until later on that I started riding for the Western trainers, more than what I was at that time. So the local trainers really helped me to get going in those first years, but I didn't ring. I used to just sit by the phone, and if they rang me, I'd just take whatever ride they gave me. I wasn't aggressive, I didn't chase rides, I didn't have the confidence to do that. I didn't know that that's what you're meant to do.
Okay.
It was only after a period of time that a couple of the trainers' wives told Nicole to tell me I've got to start ringing for rides.
Okay.
They said, why are we going to put Zac on when he's not ringing for rides? He's not showing us he's hungry. He's not showing us that he's
So you have to get
chasing
to know
for
the
win.
trainer, the
All the
assistant trainer.
exactly all the
offer yourself in the morning work.
well, we're all offering ourselves all the time. We're always available. So it's not really about offering yourself. It's just about tracing rides. Like, can I ride this horse? Can you give me an opportunity? Have you got something coming up I can ride? Have you got a new horse that no one's been on that I can ride, and we'll see how it goes. I had to learn how to do all of that. But as time's got on, you become more confident. You have more success. You become more aggressive in the way that you search for horses. But I've always been very open and honest with the trainers and owners, so they trust in the feedback that I give them. I got a lot of owners now that will just ring me and ask me about their horse, even though I'm not riding it, because they value my feedback and my opinion on the horse.
Yep.
But it's just about, I feel, about being open, honest, and true to your word. So if I say I'm going to ride a horse, then I ride the horse. It doesn't matter if a better ride comes along or not. If I've already confirmed to ride your horse, then I won't take another ride.
Yeah, I know this is what you did with most of the horses you pick up already, and then even a better ride came up, you won compared to another champion jockey. Everyone knows that.
Well, that's part of the relationship that I thought I'd build.
But do you think you have a better judgment when you sit on the horse in the morning gallop, and then you can report and tell the trainer exactly what you think, and actually it turns up to be the truth? Do you think you are better than other local jockeys?
I'm not sure, because I'm not sure what feedback the other jockeys are giving the trainers, so it's a difficult question for me to answer. But what I can say is sometimes in the morning a horse can feel amazing, and you think, wow, this is a really good horse, and then he doesn't turn up race day. And other times they feel just average in the morning, and on race day they're like a rocket. So different horses.
So you did make a mistake?
Well, sometimes I have, yeah. I've thought some horses are really nice and they've turned out to be quite average because they get to the races and they can't handle the atmosphere. The crowd worries them, they get nervous, they sweat, they get in a race, they can't handle the pressure. There are a lot of variables for horses to have to be able to handle, and it's the track condition, race speed, owners and fans and the public at the race on the day. The barriers. There's lots of things for horses to put them off, and they need to have a strong character to be able to handle that, to be able to succeed.
Understand. Now, for most of the owners know, actually you plan to ride a horse is not that week or at least 2 to 3 weeks before to set this horse for that race.
Yeah.
And so how much study you need to do to confirm, okay, this is a good horse for this race, because it's under handicap most of the races.
Sure. There's a lot of study that goes into it. You know, I'm at track work, so I'm looking at the horses when I'm riding track work. I'm getting a feel of the horses I'm riding. I'm speaking to the trainers and to the assistant trainers and the riding boys and trying to...
How early you start working?
Every day is different. It depends how many horses I have to ride. If I have to ride 1 or 2, I might start at 6 or 6:30. If I have to ride 10, I've got to start a little bit earlier.
Still ride 10 horses?
Sometimes, yeah. On like a Monday and a Thursday, the track's quite
tired?
busy. No, look at me, I'm fit. I'm okay.
10 horses?
Yeah.
You ask me to go up and down for 10 times, it's already...
Well, we're fit. We're used to it, right? If you go to the gym every day, you get used to it.
No, I still do meal time.
Yeah, there you go. So you are fit. So it starts there, and then you're watching the barrier trials, you're watching the race replays.
So how much time you spend?
Oh, a lot, because I'm doing form for the race meetings before I go to the races to ride.
Okay.
And then during the day, I'm watching the replays.
Okay.
And then I get home and I watch the replays again.
Okay.
And then I'm trying to, you know, identify which are the right horses to get on. So some horses might be dropping down in class.
Okay.
They might have run well, but they're dropping in class. It's a good time to get on them. Other horses might have been unlucky. They didn't get a clear run, you know, and they look like they could have won. It's a good time to get on. Some horses might get caught wide. And they do a lot of work and they don't get beat
you
far.
are not just watching your own ride.
No, I'm watching every horse in every race.
14 horses in a race.
Yeah.
And now sometimes 11 races of a day.
Yeah.
So you could remember which is which?
Pretty much. The slow horses I forget about. I can't remember the slow horses.
Okay.
But the fast horses and the ones that are ready to win,
Yeah.
I know all of them.
Especially for those, you know, came out very strongly at the last 200, but no room.
Well, that's right. Yeah.
That kind of,
you know, most people can see that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not reinventing the wheel. It's already there. But the hardest part is getting on the horse. You know,
let you ride.
People think I get to ride whatever horse I want, but it's not the truth. I might come home from the race meeting and I might send a message for 15 horses that I want to ride. I might get 1. If I'm lucky, I might get 2.
You know, it's quite hard as an owner. If that jockey rode my horse and pretty well, and suddenly my trainer call up, hey, Zac wants to ride this horse. I don't know what to say to the one who's going to be sacked for not having the second ride. And to me, I always leave this question to the trainer.
Of course.
You told the jockey whoever you, as trainer, you choose, not me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I know, and a lot of owners feel uncomfortable in that position as well. And I was once in that position where I wanted to stay on the horse.
A good relationship.
But for me, my job is to try and get on the best horse in every race.
Yeah.
I've got to try and win as many races as I can.
Yeah.
So for me, it doesn't matter who rode the horse to start before. My job is to try and find the best horse can win the next race.
Yeah. And you
So
get
I've
some
got-
owners disappointed.
So I've got to take the emotion out of it. But at the same time, I understand the owners have paid a lot of money for these horses.
Yes.
They're paying a lot of money in training fees.
Yes.
There's a lot of prize money on offer.
Yes.
And when their horse is in form and ready to win, they want to give it the best chance to win.
Yeah.
So if you want the best chance to win, you put the champion jockey on.
Yeah.
Because he makes the least amount of mistakes and wins the most amount of races. Pretty simple, really.
Yes.
And a lot of the jockeys here understand that if they want to put the champion jockey on, then that's their choice. I don't own the horse. The trainer doesn't own the horse. The owner does. So if the owner and trainer decide they want me on, that's their choice. If they decide they want another jockey on, that's their choice. And you just have to accept that.
Do you also propose which date, which distance, other than asking for a ride in the next race? You also make a proposal.
I do, because I have my schedule and all the rides that I have confirmed and booked.
I see.
So if I see I've got a race free and a horse has run well and it's in that class and distance, I'll say to the trainer, I can ride that horse on that day,
Okay.
if that suits you.
Okay. Understand.
And they'll say, yep, no problem. Or they'll say, oh, I can't wait that long. I want to run before, or want to run. Or it might have run over 1200, and I might think it's better suited at 1400. So I'll say, can I ride that horse next start over 1400 on this day? So it's about
the other way around. Have you ever got a call from
Yeah.
from a trainer? Will you be free to ride this horse in this day in a
Yeah.
race meeting?
Yeah, no, that still happens all the time. I still get owners contacting me as well, asking me if I can ride their horses. And I'll say, I'm sorry, I already have a ride that day, but if you want to run it on this day, I'm free to ride it here.
Okay.
And then it's their decision as well.
I see.
They might not want to wait until that day because they want to run on this day.
So
So
you
I
are
miss
the
out.
only one who manages your own schedule.
Of course, we're not allowed to have managers in Hong Kong. It's against the Jockey Club rules. But I like doing it myself. I like being involved. I like to interact with the owners and trainers, and I feel like I've got a good system that I think works. If someone else is doing it, maybe they could do it better than I'm doing it. Maybe they wouldn't. I'm not sure.
Anyway, your Facebook and IG is very popular. You got so many racing fans. I think most of them are owners as well.
Well, that's good. You know, and I understand not everyone is going to like me, but that's just part of life. You know, there are going to be some people that don't like everyone, and some people that do like me, and that's great. And you know, those you're talking about people talking around the parade ring. I laugh when people, because they're wasting their time to say something to me. I think it's quite funny. Nah, they can say what they want. It doesn't worry me.
You really have to have a big heart. You know, if I like a soccer match, a home team is always more easy than a away team, right?
Yeah.
So when you're running around the parade ring and then you see all your racing fans, of course that day you must have lost one or two favorites already.
They expect every horse can win. They just look at the result. They don't actually look at the process. So they don't look at the barrier it's drawn or the track bias on the day and things like that. They just go, oh, it didn't win again, it's your fault. But they do that to everyone. But I get more people around the parade ring like praising me and saying well done and supporting me than I do a couple of little people every now and then.
Yeah.
And I don't get much of it. I don't get heckled a lot.
Yeah. Do you ever look at the top board? What's the odds of my horse?
Of course, all the time.
You will.
Yeah, no problem.
But with only less than 2-1, will you get some kind of pressure on you?
No, I want that pressure.
Really?
I want to be on the odds-on favourite in every race. Every big race, every race. I want to be on the favourite. I want to be on the best horse.
You know, I am the other way around. You know, when my horse get less than, especially Oswell, I hope he can win. It's not prize money. It's not to make so many people around me to get upset. But I'm not the one who's riding, you know. I'm only the one who's registered the name of the owner.
So I understand.
And then I sweat up, you know.
So you worry about what people think?
I don't want people to get upset.
Yeah.
With, I remember Angel of My Eyes in the 1400, in the last race of the day. And then Virginia, my wife, said, you got all sweat up in your hands.
Yeah.
And that, under that day, I think at that time, we still have to get a mask on.
Yeah.
And only about less than 100 people on the grandstand.
Yeah. And you're still nervous.
And I got sweat up whole of my palm here. And then I said, I'm okay. And then I think you finished 5th or 6th that race.
Yeah.
But as soon as I know I can't win, I got calmed down.
Okay, yeah.
But behind the barrier,
Yeah.
I really got sweat up this and that.
But in a way, that's good because it means something to you. That's why you own a horse, because you get a feeling that you can't buy in business.
But my wife said, you are now over 60. Should you stop having this kind of, sweating out?
No, it's good.
Really?
It's good.
Okay.
It's the adrenaline, the rush, the thrill, the pressure.
I thought about getting Simon Yim to form a syndicate. And then I thought about, will Zac ride or will Zac be the trainer sometime? Anyway, we go to this question later on. So how about the other jockeys now with you? How to maintain a relationship?
Listen, it's a really difficult balance to find because we all live in the same building. We all work together. We're all colleagues.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, I've got to put the friendship aside and think about my business and success.
Only 20 odd jockeys.
That's
including
right.
a local one.
And at the end of the day, I just want to ride the best horse in every race.
Okay.
And the jockeys understand a lot of the times that if I want to ride it, I will ride it. But they also understand I'm not always available. I can't always ride it. So they could get the ride back. And I might get offered, let's just say 6 rides in a race. I can only ride one.
Yeah.
So 5 jockeys get a chance to ride the other 5 horses. So they still get their opportunities.
I see.
And when they get their opportunities, they have to make the most of it.
Yeah.
You know, that's on them. That's up to them.
I know. I think in one night stand meeting, you got off after 1 or 2 rides, and then you had 2. Suppose you ride to win.
Yeah.
And then I think Matthew Traffic can keep the ride.
Yeah.
For the next win as well.
Yeah. That's right. So when your opportunity is there, you need to make the most of it.
Yeah, understand.
Yeah, but it is sometimes it can be a little bit difficult because a jockey might be going through a tough period.
All right.
And then a horse has run well, and then all of a sudden I'm on it.
Okay.
But they handle it well. You know, they're very professional. And
now, our racing fans knows how you became a jockey, how you become so successful. Okay.
But you've got to have the passion to want to do it. Like if you would prefer to be at a nightclub, you know, going out late at night, things like that, being a jockey is not for you. You have to be disciplined, you have to be dedicated, you have to make sacrifices. I've had to sacrifice a lot.
How do you find as a father? Very dedicated. I saw you playing tennis.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, when I talk about sacrifices, when I'm riding, I can't always be there because I have to focus on